Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a budget with me for the paycheck that I'm receiving on September 15th, 2022, using the printable version of the Budget by Paycheck Workbook from the Budget Mom. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Okay, so here we are in the monthly spread for September. As you can see, it is a 3-paycheck month for me, which is really cool. We're focusing on the paycheck for the 15th, and with that paycheck I'll be paying all of the bills that are listed in this lavender color, which is all the bills for the rest of the month. My paycheck on the 29th is going to be used to pay for bills in October. I do have to make sure that I'm contributing to my 52-week challenge, and there are some empty yellow highlighted spots because I will be making some other savings challenge contributions through the rest of the month. If we go to my paycheck budget tracker, we can get into the meat and potatoes of this paycheck. So let me zoom on in. Really exciting paycheck. I'm excited to share everything going on with you guys. So as usual, we start in the income section of the paycheck budget tracker. I am budgeting my income for my full-time job to be $3,000. In the bill section, we do have a little bit going on. So I'm going to be paying my Netflix, my car payment, Optimum, Verizon, and my church contribution with this paycheck. So for Netflix, I'm budgeting $17. For my car payment, I'm budgeting $475. Optimum, I'm budgeting $205. Verizon, I'm budgeting $125. And for my church contribution, I'm budgeting $20. As you can see, I do have Amazon Prime listed here. The reason I didn't fill in an amount for the budgeted section is because this is actually going to be paid for using a sinking fund. So it will end up in the actual, but then my income in the actual will be different as well because I'll be pulling in cash from that sinking fund. So I didn't want to confuse myself by accidentally using money from this paycheck to pay that Amazon Prime. No, that's coming out of a sinking fund, but I am going to be paying it during this pay period. So all of my bills added up together do equal $842. And if I subtract that from the $3,000 that I budgeted my income to be, I'm left with $2,158, which is what I'm going to bring down to the envelope section of the paycheck budget tracker. Now, this section is all about your variable expenses, things that you know you're going to be spending money on throughout the pay period, but you don't have a set amount. So for me, those are my groceries, which I budget $200, eating out, which I budget $75, gas, which I budget $75, and miscellaneous, which I budget $150. Now, sometimes I do get questions about my miscellaneous envelope. For me, it's almost like a personal allowance. I can use that miscellaneous cash for anything I want. A book, planning supplies, a new set of pens. I go to the store and I see a shirt I really like. I can utilize that miscellaneous money for anything that I want. Now, if I add up all of my miscellaneous categories together, it does equal $500. And if I subtract that from the $2,158 we're left with after paying my bills, I have $1,658 left, which is what I'm going to bring up to the sinking fund section. Now, as you can see, the sinking fund section has a lot more going on than it usually does, or at least than it has in the last couple of months. I finished paying contributing to my 2022 sinking funds a few months back. And since then, I've really only been contributing to car maintenance and travel because I consider those rolling sinking funds. I'm going to contribute to them no matter what. Car maintenance, that's kind of moving in a different direction because I do have a new vehicle, but for now I'm contributing to it. And so I've been focusing on those two sinking funds. I've been, having to put some extra money towards a car that I purchased in June, towards a vacation that I'm going on in the fall. So that has been my priority, and I hadn't started my 2023 sinking funds yet, but that all changes with this paycheck. I'm so excited to be starting my 2023 sinking funds. I don't have any new sinking funds from 2022 to 2023, though the amounts on some of them did change, and so what I'm taking out per paycheck is definitely a little bit different. I'm also starting saving for these, I think, a little bit later than I did in 2021 for my 2022 sinking funds. So that also factors into what I have to remove every paycheck. So for me, as it stands right now, I'm going to be contributing $50 for my travel sinking fund. That's a rolling sinking fund. For Christmas, I'll be contributing $25. For subscriptions, I'll be contributing $15. Medical, I'll be contributing $20. Car maintenance, I'll be contributing $50. Car insurance and taxes, I'll be contributing $110. Birthdays, I'll be contributing $25. And holidays, I'll be contributing $20. Now, just a few kind of details with regards to this. For subscriptions, I believe last year I was also contributing $15 a pay period. Now, I did get rid of Hulu, and so naturally that would have calmed down. But Amazon Prime did go up $20 in from like last year to this year, and also Disney Plus tends to go up every year, which is a little frustrating. And so I'm kind of leaning on keeping that at $15 a pay period, and maybe having a little bit extra in subscriptions just in case one of my subscriptions goes up next year in 2023. Another one, so car maintenance, I am contributing my usual $50 a pay period, but once I hit $1,000 in my car maintenance sinking fund, I will stop contributing to it, and you won't see that listed here anymore. My main sinking fund that went up in the amount of money that I'm contributing per pay period is my car insurance and taxes. And that's a combo of me starting a little bit later this year than last year, but also my car insurance went up because I got a new vehicle. It actually went up a pretty significant amount, which was a little bit of a bummer. I'm in my 30s. I've never been in a car accident. I've actually never gotten a ticket before. So anytime my car insurance, I always feel like I'm surprised with how much my car insurance costs. And I knew that it was probably going to go up with me getting a new car because my old car was 8 years old. So definitely a bump in terms of how new the vehicle is. But my insurance went up quite a bit, and I don't think I was expecting it to go up quite that much, which was a little bit of a bummer. But I do use a broker. He does always shop around for me, so I do appreciate that. I know I'm getting the lowest rate that I can, so that's good. If I add up the total of all of these sinking funds, it does come to $315. And if I subtract that from the $1,658 I was left with after paying my bills and contributing to my variable expenses, we're left with $1,343. Now I'm going to bring that down to the house section. I decided that with this pay period, I was just going to put everything left over after my sinking funds towards my house. That is in the past been my number one savings goal. I would say that now it is once again my number one savings goal. But I also did recently buy a vehicle. I do want to pay that vehicle off more quickly. And so you are in future paychecks going to see me trying to balance between extra debt towards my car and saving for my house. With this pay period, I just decided to kind of leave things a little bit easier for myself, put it all towards the house. But again, in the future, that's going to kind of be a little bit more of a balancing act. So all of the $1,343 is going to go into my house savings, and we will be left over with $0. Now, I did fill out my cash envelope breakdown. Let me zoom you out just a little bit just to make that a little more in the screen there. So, First, I have my variable expenses listed. I don't list groceries on here. That's because I order my groceries online, so I do have to pay for them online. It doesn't make sense for me to take them out in cash and then just have to put that cash right back in my checking account. So I do have a separate checking account at my bank that is a variable expense checking account, and that's where I put my grocery money into. So I am pulling out $75 for eating out and gas, and that's going to be in a 50, a 20, and a 5. My miscellaneous envelope, the denominations for that do tend to change from paycheck to paycheck, and that's because that's where I pull all of my sinking funds out of, or I'm sorry, all of my savings challenges out of, not my sinking funds. And so I do need to kind of have the amounts of those savings challenges in mind. Now, for me, for this month, one of my savings challenges from the budget month, I really can't have that in mind, but that's okay. I did keep in mind my 52-week challenge when I did these denominations. So for this paycheck, I'm going to take out $150 in two $50 bills, two $20 bills, and two $5 bills. Next, we have my sinking funds. And with my sinking funds, I always go with largest denominations possible. So for travel, it's a $50 bill. For Christmas, it's a 20 and a 5. For medical, it's a 20. For car maintenance, it's a 50. For car insurance and taxes, it's going to be a $100 bill and a $10 bill. For birthdays, it's a 20 and a 5. And then for holidays, it's also a 20. And all of that added together is going to equal $615, which is what you're going to see me stuff during my cash envelope stuffing, which I'll post in a couple of days. And that is it for this budget. I hope that you enjoyed this budget with me. I'm really, really looking forward to finally contributing to sinking funds again, or at least in a more obvious way. Oh gosh, my camera's all messed up here. Okay, here we go. So I'm just excited to finally be starting my 2023 sinking funds. I'm excited to have more money going towards, well, I shouldn't say more money, but like more money going to different categories of sinking funds. And I'm also excited to be pushing a little bit more money towards my house savings again, which is really, really exciting for me. If you have any questions or comments about this budget with me, please don't hesitate to put them down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.